What's up, everybody? It's Joe from Empire Music, empiremusic.com in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we are one of a handful of Taylor's online preferred dealers, bringing you the greatest things from Taylor guitars. And Taylor continues its evolution sonically with an expansion of the Gold Label series. You know, at the time of filming here, it's June of 2025. Earlier this year, we saw the 800 series Gold Labels, right? The super Grand Auditoriums, which are essentially, if you want to bring it down to a one or two word sentence or one or two sentence summation, is if Taylor guitars existed in the 1930s and 40s, what would they have been doing? Well, you got it with the Gold Label E14, and now we have it with the expansion of the Grand Pacific Gold Labels in both a 717 E and a 517 E, and they also have them just straight acoustic too, so you don't have to have the E. This is the 517 E model. We've already done the Rosewood model. This is the Mahogany model, and we're calling this a Super Dreadnought because it's a larger size Dreadnought. It's amazing. You can check it out at empiremusic.com. You can see our entire selection of Taylor guitars. Know that we always take trades. We completely dial in every single guitar to make sure you get an incredible feel. Pro setup to factory spec, bringing it to the best ability of that guitar to play, and this one plays great. And we have a huge selection of the brands that we believe in. We don't carry a ton of brands, but we carry them crazy deep. So not only will we get you the right Taylor guitar, we'll get you a great Taylor guitar, we're gonna get you the right one, which is good. So I'm all juiced up about this Gold Label. I got my words mixed up. So let's talk about this guitar. The first thing I want to talk about is the size of it. The Grand Pacific was a slope shoulder Dreadnought. And this is a slope shoulder Dreadnought. The difference really here is the body depth. At the sound hole, here, it's 5 inches deep. You know, a D28, let's call it, is like about 4¼ round figures, right? What does this mean? So you're deeper here. You're also deeper at the shoulders. So it's a deeper guitar. It's a bigger instrument. There's no doubt about it. You know what I mean? It's just like you definitely, you can feel the size of the guitar. That being said, Taylor guitar fans and Taylor guitar non-fans for years have been asking for rounder sounding Taylor guitars. If you've watched any of my content or if you ever talked to me in person, you know that things are like, it's bassy, it's bright. Those are very kind of caveman-y terms when you're talking about a guitar, right? It's like these are much more complex than bassy or bright, right? Taylor guitars are extremely focused, hyper-dynamic instruments. They've always been so balanced that, yeah, the guitar in the most basic context is going to be brighter than some instruments. I think it was more a matter of the notes were breathing. You had less muddiness in there, so you didn't get this fullness. The trick is, though, like if you love Martin guitars and you want that big bottom end, yeah, it's like that's, you know, it's they do a great job. Martin does a big bassy guitar, but if you play a Martin Dreadnought, it's, you know, D28, it's bright on the top too. It's got a lot of spank to it. So that's why this decision about, oh, it's just bright or bassy doesn't work. This guitar, though, has been totally re-engineered inside to give you a round, full sound that is super fat. And I think that's what we've been looking for, right? This roundness, but we still want to keep the clarity. We still want to keep the dynamic range that is unique to Taylor guitars. And they've accomplished that with the V-fan bracing. So it's a bracing scheme that is kind of like fanned out, but based on the V-class bracing that is unique to the Gold Label guitars. This 517 model has a torrefied spruce top, baked, so you get kind of the more broken in tone, a more mature sound with beautiful tropical American mahogany back and sides. See here, the guitar comes in 4 finishes. This natural here with the fire stripe guard. It comes in 2 sunbursts. It comes in sunbursts 2 ways, with a cream pick guard and a torque guard or a fire stripe guard, one of the 2 of those, and then a black top guitar with a white or cream pick guard. So you have these 4 options there, but it's all the same instrument. It comes with and without the LR Baggs pickup. So for others of you that don't want to pick up in your Taylor guitar, and we are seeing a trend toward people wanting guitars to be straight acoustic, you don't have to have that. This has the LR Baggs VTC volume tone control pickup under saddle, super classic, very tried and true, plug and play. You know, it's just like definitely not a complicated system that sounds great. The bonus of Taylor guitars is they always feel good, even with the body shape. I kind of think what's unique about Taylor, the Grand Auditorium shape was uniquely to them, the Grand Symphony shapes. as they've done these different shapes over time, the lines have always been super comfortable, regardless of how big. If you ever played a Taylor Grand Orchestra, it didn't feel as clunky as some other huge guitars. I mean, that guitar was really, really big. You know, it's just like, so keep that in mind. They really have an understanding of lines and how to make a guitar have more sonic area that they've given us here. They've given us more depth. They've given us a fuller guitar, so a fuller sound. But it doesn't feel quite as big as it looks, but it does feel larger than a standard Dreadnought. So, you know, keep that in mind for sure. What's great about this wood combination is, you know, obviously a baked spruce top is the primary voice of your guitar, right? And you have a huge dynamic range here. What Taylor's amazing at is giving you a guitar. I always think they play outside of their range. Like you get a grand concert Taylor, it tends to play bigger. This guitar here, I just did some light picking at the beginning of the video just so you could hear. It sounds beautiful and full, but I wasn't working hard to drag sound out of it. Whereas if you've ever played some Dreadnoughts where you want to, you know, finger pick it or play a little bit lightly with your pick, it sounds thin, or you have to like play kind of super heavy-handed to get the tone out of it. Here, the tone just kind of pours out of it very easily. And then it opens up beautifully. Mahogany is amazing because you get equal bass, mids, and treble. It's a very balanced EQ. So this thing sounds fat top to bottom, really, really round. Something to consider as you look at our inventory, and I kind of mentioned is like Rosewood guitars have a bright top end. A lot of times people say, oh, I want a bassy guitar. Cool, so you get your Rosewood model. It's got way extra bass, compressed mids, and that extra treble, and then you hear that treble, like, ooh, that's kind of bright up top, or you know, it's just like, it sounds bright, and it's surprising because bass isn't warm, right? Warm is a roundness to the sound, and I think this guitar gives you a ton of roundness, whereas the Rosewood is going to give you that extra bass thump, and then that top end sparkles. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you reach out to us, we can definitely walk you through the process of the different guitars to help you make sure you're getting the right sonic profile that you're after. Another thing that Taylor's done with this guitar is they've continued through with all the gold labels with the Honduran Rosewood bridge, which has more damping. It's a little bit has a little bit more character maybe than the Ebony Bridge would. So that's something Andy's really been into as he designed these guitars. You see them, you know, Andy uses Honduran fingerboards on the Powers electric guitars. The gold labels have consistently had the Honduran bridges, mahogany neck, ebony fingerboard and bridge. Just it's a beautiful sounding instrument. This is definitely a guitar you could show up to in traditional bluegrass circles or whatever and hang all day. It's just, you know, it's just like, it's Taylor's take on it, but it's definitely in the neighborhood of the classic design guitars. And it has an action control neck, which, without getting too into the weeds, it's a neck that you can adjust the neck angle on your own. It's very simple to do. So if you find that your action is a little too low or a little bit too high and you want to adjust your neck angle, you can do that on the fly. It's a huge manufacturing milestone to be able to complete, you know, which is really cool that they did this. I don't want to get into this idea where you have to fuss with air guitar all day long with, like, you know, it's like, I think it's cool that you have that at your fingertips. I don't think it's a reason to buy this guitar because Taylor guitars were already very adjustable with the shim system, and you know, Taylor guitars play great. I mean, these just, after our guys dialed them in from the shipment yesterday, I mean, they just are nuts. They just play so easy. The neck design is unbelievable on these. So you're going to get a great playing guitar from us. And if you need to do it in a pinch, you can. It's just, I think if you plan on constantly having a nut driver in there fussing with up and down on your neck angle all day long, I think you're getting away from the point of just enjoying the guitar. But it has a very, very adjustable neck, which is spectacular. It comes with a great hard case. Now, if you watch my videos, you know I do dynamic range in mids of a guitar. The standout, I already know about this. I mean, the top end output is amazing, of course, because it's a big guitar. Mahogany guitars are very balanced. The mids are going to sound very full and in line with the rest of the instrument, which is great. The unique part about this guitar is the character that it has, played lightly, even though it's big. It gives you the roundness and the character of a big sounding guitar with a light attack, which is amazing. Additionally, and this is at the time of filming, this is a sub $3,000 guitar, which is unbelievable. I mean, it's just like a very, very value-filled premium guitar. So a very aggressive move by Taylor to enter that sub $3,000 market with both the 5 and 17 models that you'll be able to like experience these instruments and really have a massive opportunity in the price point. So very excited about that for now. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my dynamic range, really hone in, and I might hang in that lighter range just for a minute because I really want you to think about how beautiful this guitar sounds and mature this guitar sounds with very little work. and then we'll open it up, of course. Then we'll push through the mids and see what you think. Again, the obvious mid sound amazing, super round, but Taylor's got this ability that's really, really unique to keep all the notes clean. No matter how round, like this guitar is very full sounding, and all those notes have their own voice, which is just amazing. And it's just like if you know, there are players out there showing these off, pre-launch in social media. They're Nashville artists, bluegrass guys that are playing them, and they're just not advertising what it is. You know, it's like you can see the guitar, but they're not telling you. It's just kind of like a little plant there to get the brain thinking. They sound just like really, really articulate, and those guys that play really heavy keep all the clarity, but it's got the body that type of player is looking for. And I think all of us want more sound choices, right? It's like if you're a fan of any brand, you know, how many strats you can have with the same exact pickups, right? You want some different pickups to give, different voices. We want to have the ability to fill out different parts of our sonic collection, and this does an amazing job of giving us the fatness and fullness that we want from Taylor guitars that we really haven't experienced before. Just amazing. And then the light part of the guitar, to me, it's like, are you going to play this size guitar that lightly all the time? Definitely not. It's just, to me, it shows a quality of build. It's one of these things where it's like, if it wasn't very good there, it wouldn't impact many of us. It's like we wouldn't really think about it, but then you start to think it, then at what point would it click? And that's kind of what's unique about this, is that you play it so lightly and it sounds so, I mean, you play any guitar quietly, it'll be quiet, right? And this is, again, quiet versus tone, bass versus warm. These are all that we have to make sure we're using the right adjectives. Playing this guitar quietly, it doesn't sound brittle and just frail and empty, right? It's got all this interesting thing, this interesting character and kind of bloom to it that is hard to achieve. It's just hard to achieve for guitar builders, and they nailed it with this. And to me, as you open up your playing, what that tells me is there's all millions and millions of these little spots in attack that you can continue to find new sounds and new character to, because they've developed the full range that the instrument could explore for you, which is really cool. Andy is a very cerebral builder, so things like him, things like this for him are very top of mind because he's a world-class guitar player, which I am not. As if you watch any of my videos, it's like, he's just a world-class guitar player. He notices all those nuances, and he can really drag them out of his builds, and they nailed it. So if you want a classic-inspired Taylor guitar, the Gold Label series is phenomenal. Check out obviously the 800 series Gold Labels. We have all those. This is the 517 Gold Label. It comes with and without electronics. It's a torrefied top, baked top, spruce, with mahogany back and sides. See all the ones we have in stock, exact photos of every one on the site. Never a stock photo. You get the exact one you select. We dial everyone with the pro setup, make sure it plays the best it can, bring it down into factory range to make sure it plays exactly as it's specified to. And it's like, this is important. How should it, Taylor Guitars hosted an artist at the factory. How they get guitar, that's how we're preparing the instrument. We want your trade-ins. There's a trade-in portal on the site, so you can always hit us up there. And like I said, you're not only going to get a great Taylor guitar from us, you're going to get the right one with our huge selection of Taylor guitars. We don't believe in a ton of brands, but the brands we believe in, we carry crazy deep. So we'll get you a great instrument. This is the Taylor 517E from the new Gold Label series from Taylor Guitars. Check them out at empiremusic.com. Thanks for watching.